What up, what up, what up? Welcome to another episode of Dank Times Danker Thoughts with me, Angelo, episode 109. I had plans for this podcast. I had plans for a fun one. We were going to discuss some movie ideas that I've been brewing, a novel idea, and we were going to talk about some animated characters that I wouldn't mind giving the good old sexy time to. Continuing our series with fictosexual stuff and the Disney characters. I even took today off because I wasn't feeling too well in the evening and this morning. Plus, I slept like shit. And I didn't really start to feel really good until, I would say about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So then I thought, fuck it, let me do a podcast. I'm not working today. I got myself a good Irish cream latte. I got myself a good joint. What is this strain? Pamelina. Pamelina. Never had it before. It's a hybrid, so I'll be smoking that here in a second. I was all excited to do a fun, upbeat podcast, but then I told myself, you know what? Check the news just in case. And literally, within seconds of me getting online, I was sent a notification about another mass shooting. And you think to yourself, well, surely the one in Buffalo is the worst one we've had so far. Oh, no, not this year. 2022 is the year of the mass shooting. So just today, Tuesday the 24th, there was a mass shooting in Texas. Where in Texas? Uvalde, Texas. I don't know where that is. I guess it's by San Antonio. At an elementary school. Jesus Christ, an elementary school. 14 students are dead. 14 elementary school children are dead, and one teacher. The shooter is dead, and I don't want to hear again thoughts and prayers, but we really can't do anything else because meh, 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 meh. After the Buffalo shooting, you saw the same bullshit that I have seen my entire life after one of these mass shootings. I mean, we get mass shootings every week, people. Mass shootings aren't rare anymore, and they haven't been for over a decade, maybe even 2 decades. And the government at the federal level and the state level never do a goddamn thing. So if you think 14 students at an elementary school getting murdered by, I'm assuming, a handgun or a shotgun or an assault rifle, I highly doubt the killer murderer was using a fucking knife. And already I'm looking at what that crippled bitch, Governor Greg Abbott, is saying. He's one of the worst people running a state. And he's one of the main reasons we don't have a goddamn gun control or anything in this country. So I don't want to talk about this, but I feel like I have to. At least 14 students and one teacher are dead following a shooting at an elementary school in Texas on Tuesday. Governor Greg Abbott identified the suspect shooter as 18-year-old, I'm not going to say his name, who was believed to have entered Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas with a handgun as well as a rifle. He shot and killed, horrifically, incomprehensibly, 14 students and killed a teacher, Greg Abbott said, adding the shooter himself is deceased and is believed that responding officers killed him. Uvalde Memorial Hospital has said earlier on Facebook, shortly before 3 p.m. local time, that 2 individuals had died as part of a group of more than a dozen children taken to a hospital after the shooting at the school about 85 miles west of San Antonio. The ages and identities of those who died were not immediately released. Well, we don't need to. It's at an elementary school, for crying out loud. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said over Twitter that the president has been briefed on the matter. President Biden has been briefed on the horrific news of the elementary school shooting in Texas and will continue to be briefed regularly as information becomes available. Here's my problem with this. It happens all the goddamn time. We are becoming mute to it. It doesn't bother us anymore. It's just hyper violence. And when people get in an uproar and they get angry and demand justice and action, that lasts about a week until predominantly Republicans say, well, there's just nothing we can do. What are we going to do? Have stricter gun laws and better mental health facilities and give schools more money so that they can protect themselves a little bit better with safety and security measures? I mean, what can we do? There is no answer. At this point in 2022, I don't give a fuck what political party you believe in. If you think that any kind of gun control is a step too far, I would love for you to become a high school, middle school, elementary school security guard. Practice what you preach, you bitch. I have known that we should have stricter gun laws since I was a fucking infant, but maybe I was more intelligent and had more common sense in my toddler brain than most adult gun owners today. And I hate saying that because I know a lot of gun owners. A lot of them were my best friends. Most of them were in my family. And when I talk to them about this, whenever I broach the subject of gun control, most of them get all uppity and pissy and think that I'm talking about outlawing every single gun, which is not true. I am a supporter of the Second Amendment to a certain extent. I don't know why we cannot make illegal automatic weapons. I don't know why we can't make illegal semi-automatic weapons. I don't know why we can't make illegal armor-piercing bullets. I don't know why we can't make illegal body armor. I don't know why we can't make illegal taking out these shortcuts. So like you can go to a gun show and walk up to Hillbilly Joe here and no background check, nothing, and you just show your ID and get a gun. I am not okay with this. I have never been okay with this. And you know what? Once I talk to my friends and family who are staunch gun advocates and Second Amendment right activists, the mass majority of them agree with me that we need to have some common sense gun laws. And the people that are really into guns hate how easy it is to get a gun. The mass majority of them, at least the ones that I have spoken to. So instead of focusing on this one mass shooting where, again, 14 elementary school children were murdered, and you know nothing is going to happen. The NRA is going to talk about, well, we can't let one incident affect everybody. You're going to hear Republicans talk about, well, it's not a gun issue, it's a mental health issue, and then do nothing to help actually support that argument and actually try to help those in need of mental health. They're not going to do anything. They're just like the pro-life cunts who say, well, we can't abort a baby because life begins at conception, but once that baby gets squirted out, well, then it's on its own. So instead of me focusing on this horrific but common American thing that happens, no other country this happens to, that's a first world nation, we are the hyper-violent, supposedly leader of the free world, but we don't give a good goddamn about our children. And you wonder why. My generation and the Gen Zs, that Gen Z's below us, right? And you wonder why millennials and the Gen Z are so far left, or at least they say they're far left, and you hear where the boomers think far left is just free healthcare and a little bit of climate change laws coming into effect so we can help stop this fucking monster that is global warming from killing us all. See, the boomers will be long dead before global warming affects them like it's going to affect us. They don't give a fuck. The boomers really are the worst generation. I put a lot of this inaction on guns, mental health crisis, homelessness. I put a lot of it down at their feet because you may call me an ageist. They had decades and decades and decades to fucking do something and vote correctly, and they didn't. They bought into Reagan. They bought into Clinton. They bought into Carter. Well, Carter wasn't that bad of a president, but you get what I'm saying. They fucked up big time, and we're still dealing with the ramifications. Who the fuck do you think is in the Supreme Court right now? A bunch of goddamn boomers, except those young fucks that Trump put on there that are trying to take away a woman's right to choose. So you tell me who the real fucking villains in this country are. But anyway, let me back up here. So, Angelo, you're ranting and raving here about a shooting and gun controls. What would you do if you were in charge? Because this is how I have to tackle this issue without buying a gun myself and trying to take out the trash, if you catch my meaning. That is one thing the boomer generation does better than any other generation that's actively alive, which is political assassinations. I wish boomers were still doing that, but they would probably be wiping out progressives because, oh, communism and socialism, even though they don't even know what that is, and that the mass majority of benefits they get from this country are actually socialist. But anyway, I digress. First thing I would do, I would make it incredibly difficult to buy a gun. I would also raise the price of bullets. I think Chris Rock may have actually had the best suggestion. Was it back in his 1998, 1999 stand-up special, or the early 2000s, where basically he was talking about if you make bullets thousands of dollars, I'm talking one bullet is $1,000 or $2,000, you're going to drastically see a reduction in shootings because people aren't going to be able to afford bullets. And so that when someone does get shot, you have to think, man, that motherfucker may have deserved it. If you have to mortgage your house to get a box of bullets so you can kill somebody, you have to wonder, that person that's getting killed, what the fuck did they do? Now, let me back up here, because I think that it's self-explanatory making bullets more expensive, but what do I mean by making it difficult to buy guns? I have never bought a gun, so I'm no expert in how the process works. I have been yelled at and derided by my friends and family who are staunch gun advocates that say, you don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even know how the process works. And I say, well, based on my research and what I've heard and read by people who are pro and anti-guns, it's incredibly easy to get guns. You can be on the national terror list and still get a gun. There's so many ways to get a gun. I'm not going to go through all the different ways. You know, it should be difficult to get a gun. It should take you weeks and weeks of background checks to get approval for a gun. And I don't care what kind of gun it is, handgun or shotgun. And I don't know really the difference between automatic and semi-automatic weapons. I don't know why you need to have either of them. I don't know why you can't create a new business that is revolved around guns. So that's another part of my action plan. I'll just get to that now. So now we're making bullets more expensive and we're making it harder to get a gun, meaning the wait time is longer, the background checks are more stringent, and if you've made if you've been arrested or you've made social media comments or anything like that about shooting up schools, shooting up a movie theater, or just mass shootings, you need to be put on a watch list. And if you ever are trying to buy a gun and your name comes up on that watch list, you need to be investigated. It happened with that Buffalo shooting. That kid had talked about it numerous times. I think the year or two before he actually went through that racist shooting that he did, he got arrested at school for talking about shooting up the school, and he went to a day and a half of psychology, whatever. Not good enough. Not good enough. Obviously, it's not good enough. It didn't do a goddamn thing. So you need to make that a priority. You have to make background checks. You have to look into their ties. If they belong to a white nationalist party, if they belong to a Tucker Carlson defendant group or anything like that, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to get a gun, at least not easily. But I mentioned this a couple minutes ago. I would even open businesses that revolve around the guns that we're making illegal. So if you can't believe in your American mind that the government says you can and cannot have certain types of weapons, what you can do is go to these types of businesses that will be opening up, staunch security, a lot of cameras recording everyone that comes in, facial recognition, you name it. There has to be a very stringent code in these businesses. Now, I've been to gun ranges. It's been fun. It was fun. But I also was looking around at the people shooting their guns, and some of them look like they never should have been handed a gun. However, in my new gun range, I guess we could call it a new gun range, you would get the guns that are illegal. So you would get your semi-automatic and your automatic weapons. There's shit. You could even get a grenade launcher and rocket launcher, depending on where you are if you're outside. You can blow up old cars. There's another thing. You get what I'm getting at here. You pay money, you're getting trained with someone who knows what they're doing, and you have high security watching everyone, and then you can start shooting your automatic rifles, your semi-automatic weapons, whatever. And if you're in an area in this country where there's a lot of open field, fuck it. You start paying people to take off their cars off their lawns, how disgusting is it when you see your neighbor have like 3 broken down cars in their front yard? They're never going to run again, and that those neighbors are holding on to it for their own stupid, retarded reasons. So what you can do is tell those people, hey, I'll give you $1,000 for those 3 cars, bring them into your gun range, and then you can have people shoot at them with rocket launchers, with guns. You could have them throw darts, bows and arrows, crossbows. Who gives a fuck? The fact remains, you're getting testosterone out. You're getting guns used by people who maybe just need an outlet, and instead of shooting a bunch of elementary school children and shoppers and movie theater goers, they're shooting up a beat up car from the 70s. You get my point here? So you can still get that outlet and do it safely and responsibly. Yes, so besides, let's see, bullets more expensive, stricter, more in-depth background checks, cutting out any loopholes from gun shows. I don't even know why we have gun shows, but I don't think people would be okay with you saying you can no longer have a gun show. But there needs to be a way at these gun shows where the wrong person isn't being able to buy a bunch of weapons. I mean, you're never going to get illegal gun buying down to zero, but you can at least make a fucking dent in it. And that's just the gun issue. Now you look at the mental health issue, which, hey, Republicans and Democrats both have been saying this ever since I've been alive. We do have a mental health crisis in this country, and sometimes those individuals get a gun and take out their mental issues out on others. And so what we have to do as a two-pronged, three-pronged attack here on guns and mental health is say, okay, why do we have so many mentally ill people? Well, all you need to do is drive through any major city in this country and see just the hordes of zombie homeless people out there. And all you need to do is talk to anyone under the age of 40 and you realize that nihilism, depression, anxiety are at an all-time high. So what you have to do, step one, in my opinion, to look at this mental health crisis, you need to start opening back up lots and lots and lots of whatever the PC term is of these insane asylums. You know, one flew the cuckoo's nest kind of places. The Republicans closed them all down in the 70s and 80s. Thank you very much, trickle-down economics, you fucking antichrist Ronald Reagan. That way you get the real dangerous people, the people that actually need help that will never be rehabilitated, will never be able to hold a job, and instead of diddling kids and shooting up places, they're in insane asylums trying to live out the best life as they can, okay? And that takes care of one chunk of the mental health crisis. Second thing is, you have to look at universal health care and expand it to include mental health services. The company I work for is pretty good in that department. I have never used it, but I know a lot of my coworkers have. But that needs to be standard operating procedure across the country, especially if you work in a major company like an Amazon, a Starbucks, a Walmart, whoever. They need to have mental health experts and outlets paid for by insurance or paid for by the government if we do universal health care. So that'll take care of another chunk of the mentally ill in that department. And then you look at, okay, we took care of some of these people, but what about the large percentage of people that just had a bad break, they're drug addicted, they're out of prison, and they can't find work, blah, 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 blah. Again, you need to have a safety net. A safety net in this country is not a weak thing, it's not a handout, it's not socialist. The better the community does, the better the whole does. That's common sense 101. So you make insane asylums prevalent everywhere, you put the dangerous people in, you maybe even put the really, really, really bad ones in jail or prison, which that's a whole other topic of fixing the prison system. That's a whole other podcast. And you're having mental health experts and professionals being paid for by large companies or insurance companies or by the government itself. And then you got to look at, okay, we need job training for a lot of these homeless people. A lot of these mentally ill people just need a second chance. Got to get them on the right medication. That'll take time. Job training takes time. And you just got to give these people housing for a short time, or define short time. To me, I think it's not asking a lot. If someone's homeless and drug addicted and they can't find work, give them a home for 6 to 8 months, let them clean up, take them to job training. They have to keep up on it. You can't just trust them. You have to have a way of keeping tabs on them, checkups on them. And I think if you do those things, you will make a large, large, large dent in not only mass shootings and homelessness, but just this overall mental health crisis we have in this country. If I was President Biden, I would do a state of emergency for mental health issues in this country, because it's not just some people are slipping through the cracks. The mass majority of people these days are slipping through the cracks, and there is no safety net to catch them. Think of it as a trapeze artist at a circus. They're up 400 feet up. Okay, not 400 feet, Angelo. Calm it down. Let's say they're up 50 feet in the air, holding one of those giant poles, and they're just walking on a wire. And beneath them is just a net. If they fall, the net's going to save them. But if they fall and nothing is there, they're going to fall to their death. Or they're going to fall and cripple themselves. They're not going to be able to work again on that trapeze. I think it's called a trapeze. They're never going to be on that rope again. You get what I'm saying? So, did I just fix the gun issues in this country? Did I just fix mental health issues in this country? Did I just fix homelessness in this country? Wow. It's almost like if you help people and give them a leg to stand on, most of them will figure it out themselves and take care of themselves. Are you going to have people that are the takers? Well, of course. Of course you are. That's human being 101. And let's face facts. Are there any bigger takers in the world than Americans? I mean, we are the most entitled swine ever. But anyway, if I was running things, I think we would make up a very positive, large dent in this. We're never going to cure it. You're never going to have zero mass shootings. It's never going to happen. Not in this country. But you can put a massive, massive dent in it and make life a little bit better for children. So if you're pro-life and don't want gun legislation, I don't know what the fuck you think life is. How you can be pro-life, but then, well, I'm not for gun laws and I'm for the capital punishment. I don't know what the fuck you think life is. You're not protecting life. You're murdering life. So, oh God, is there any worse people in this planet, in this country, I should say, than evangelical pro-lifers? I would rather talk to a atheist vegan than a pro-life evangelical. Oh my God. I mean, take me to Guantanamo Bay and torture me by having me talking to those two types of people. I think I would just take the easy way out and just climb a barbed wire fence and just let myself get slowly bled out if I was in Guantanamo Bay under those circumstances. Oh, I know LaFonda. LaFonda hears me getting all worked up and trying to comfort me. So enough about gun laws and mental health crises and all that stuff. I mean, I fixed everything. And I hope the Biden administration is listening because I'm giving you gold, baby. But let's move on to some other happier news stories. ISIS plot to assassinate George W. Bush broken up. Ugh, can today get any worse? Can't believe they broke it up. Shit. The FBI uncovered a plot by an alleged ISIS operative to assassinate former President George Bush, according to the DOJ. The suspect, Iraqi national Shihab Ahmad Shabab, was arrested by FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force agents on Tuesday and appeared in federal court in Ohio. According to the charging documents, his last name was Shihab. I'm sorry, I pronounced your name wrong. Shihab. I'm sorry, I waved my hand to this guy who's not here. I'm fucking high. According to the charging documents, Shihab reportedly planned to smuggle 4 Iraqi foreign nationals into the U.S. for the purpose of killing the former president in an operation titled Operation Iraqi Freedom. Whoa, they turned it around on us. Forbes was the first to report the news. Forbes magazine, don't they just give out like fashion advice? The DOJ added that he allegedly planned to smuggle the 4 foreigners out of the United States via the U.S.-Mexico border after they carried out the assassination. The purpose of the assassination plot was to kill the former president in retaliation for Iraqi deaths. Shihab entered the U.S. on a visitor visa September 2020 and later applied for asylum. The alleged plot was uncovered after the suspect revealed information about his plans and asked a confidential FBI source to obtain replica or fraudulent police and or FBI identification and badges. That would be used in the assassination, the affidavit in support of the criminal complaint said. I mean, he gave it up real quick. He just asked someone. I mean, maybe this was an FBI informant because it just says they asked a confidential FBI source. So maybe it wasn't a informant. So then this guy is really fucking stupid. Because this guy was working for the FBI, trying to figure this shit out. And then the Shihab guy just asks him, by the way, can I get some fraudulent or replica ID badges? You know what I'm saying? Maybe for the local police and the FBI? Oh, come on. That's good. Give yourself up right away, man. Come on. You got to be a little bit more sneaky than that. The suspect asked a second FBI source. there was a way to smuggle the co-conspirators out of the U.S. once their operation was complete. Wow, so he's asked, did he talk to anyone who wasn't the FBI? The alleged plot would have involved at least 7 ISIS members. The criminal complaint said the suspect's role was to locate and conduct surveillance on former President Bush's residence and or offices and obtain firearms and vehicles to use in the assassination. So it didn't really even come close to happening. So the headline's a little grabby in my opinion. ISIS plot to assassinate Bush broken up. That to me sounds like, oh shit, it actually got to a point. Well, not really. You know, and this is just me being opinionated, but also realizing that the FBI has coerced a lot of innocent people into maybe doing horrific things and then arresting them and charging them. It just went against them in that Whitmer case when it found out like it was all FBI agents talking to this kid who was kind of mentally retarded into doing that Governor Whitmer plot, and then it turned out, well, he really didn't want to do it, but the FBI was talking him into it, so there was no arrests. Well, I'm sorry, there was arrests, but then it went to court and everybody was found not guilty. So I'm just saying, I'm using that as maybe this. I'm just saying there's a chance, because this is not the first time the FBI's done shit like this, that maybe this guy was just talking shit online, and he's already talked to 2 FBI people. I mean, how many people was he talking to about his plan that weren't the FBI? But anyway, I'm just grasping at straws here. I don't know. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. But what I'm saying is, if it comes out later that this was all an FBI plot, it wouldn't surprise me all that much. Oh my God. By the way, I'm going to continue reading this, but you're not going to believe this. The suspect, along with an FBI informant, also managed to record a video of the president's residence with another FBI informant. So he's got the FBI informant and the 2 FBI sources he's already talked to. So again, the FBI could be taking this Iraqi guy around and just saying, you know what, here's the president live. What do you think about that? Oh, okay. Now I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a little iffy there. You know, they may be pretending, fuck America, right? And he's like, yeah, fuck America. I mean, I'm from Iraq, and for decades they bombed my country into dust, and nothing ever happened, and they're still there, and it's costs thousands and thousands and thousands of lives on both sides, but mostly us. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of America. Oh, well, what would you do if I could hook you up with some documents here? Oh, no, then maybe, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Coercion. But anyway, so he got stopped, and I would like to see what happens in the future with this story. Let's hope that the news keeps coming with it. Moving on. This is the best thing that these 2 hags have done in some time. Elizabeth Warren and Pramila Jayapal endorse House candidate Maxwell Alejandro Frost in the Florida 10th Congressional District race. Now you may say to yourself, well, Angelo, why do you call Elizabeth Warren and Pramila Jayapal hags? Elizabeth Warren stabbed me in the back and heart at the same time during the 2020 election when she did not drop out on that big Tuesday when Buttigieg, Klobuchar, and a bunch of those other people that were on the moderate side all dropped out on the same day out of the blue and endorsed Biden, who, by the way, was like number 4 or 5 in the polls at that time. And instead of doing the same thing that would help Bernie, you would have the people like the Andrew Yangs, the Tulsi Gabbard at that time, she was progressive, and Elizabeth Warren. If they would have all saw that and then dropped out at the same time because they were down in the polls as well. I mean, at that time, it really was Bernie, Buttigieg, Biden. Who else was like high up? I don't even remember, but it was like really it was becoming like a 2-man race at that point. But after they all dropped out and supported Biden, Elizabeth Warren did not do what should have happened, because then it was like a 4-person race with Yang and Warren and Bernie and Biden. And so Warren basically sapped away votes away from Bernie, which, hey, may have been on purpose. Maybe she was promised things in the Biden administration. I don't know if she got given anything in the Biden administration. I don't think she did. Maybe Obama told her to. I don't know. Maybe she truly thought she had a chance. But she stayed in the race too long, sapping away votes. And then she accused Bernie of sexual impropriety when he said something about, oh, you're never going to win, or or she's never going to win about Hillary because she's a woman. This country's not ready for a woman president, or something to that extent, which never happened. It was a lie. And I mean, I could never recover from that. So I'm not a fan of her anymore. I still like her policies, don't get me wrong. But yeah, what she did to Bernie, I will not forgive anytime soon. And I don't care. Oh, she's playing politics. Well, I don't care. You should not have played politics when you're talking about a very important presidential election. And, Biden ended up winning. So, hey, I guess that's good. I don't know. You would think Trump would be worse. I would completely agree with that. You think things are bad under Biden right now? The same things happening under Trump. I don't even want to imagine what would happen, because it would basically be Mad Max world in America if Biden lost and Trump won. Anyway, and Pramila Jayapal, she really buckled in the Biden administration with a lot of these Build Back Better bills. She kept believing Joe Manchin was telling the truth. She went along with a lot of what Biden wanted, not what, like, say, the Bernie and true progressives actually wanted to do. And then she wouldn't endorse certain progressive candidates, instead going with the moderates. I don't know. It's just, she's supposed to be the progressive leader, and I think her record is spotty at best in terms of leading. Hey, she's from my home state, and she's a lot better than the mass majority of Democrat senators and whatnot, but I just feel like we could do better in leadership. So the fact that they were able to do the right thing and endorse this Maxwell Alejandro Frass candidate, who actually is a true progressive, and him being a Gen Z, I mean, he's 24 years old. This is what we need in this country. Personally, I think 24 is slightly too young, but is there much difference now between a 24 and a 34-year-old in this era? Not much. It's not like the 80s and 90s where a 10-year gap at that age would basically be 30 years, but these Gen Zers are pretty mature in a lot of areas. Not so much in other areas, but no, I think this is okay. By the way, this guy, Maxwell, is a survivor of gun violence. So if he wins, which God help me, I hope he does, we will have a gun violence survivor serving in our government. And unfortunately, with so many school shootings happening in the last 20 years, we're going to get a lot of people like this. And hopefully then we will get some actual change in this country in the right direction when it comes to guns. But anyway, moving on to another happy story. MacKenzie Scott, Jeff Bezos' ex, donates $123 million to Big Brothers and Big Sisters. So good job, MacKenzie Scott. And by the way, you know what the Big Sister is, right? It's that nonprofit that helps people in need with each other, I think. It's like, do they explain it? I'm too high to describe what Big Brother, Big Sisters is. Yeah, it's a mentor program. Yeah. Okay, that's kind of right. So that now ups her philanthropy since 2020, since when she got all her money from the divorce. She has given away $12.5 billion with a B to nonprofits, 1,253 nonprofits to be exact. Her latest gift to Big Brothers, Big Sisters, I'm just going to call it BBS, even though that sounds like a Pornhub category. I should open Pornhub and type in BBBS. Sorry, there's 3 B's there. Let's see here. Pornhub BBBS. What does that stand for? Oh my goodness, right away it says BBBS is back. But what is it? Tell me what it means. All right, let's see. Is there a Urban Dictionary definition of this? BBBS. Triple B, big booty bitches. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. BBB, big booty bitches. Okay, so I guess in Pornhub it would be just giant asses. Okay. It also means bitches be bonkers from the Netflix series On My Block. I don't know what that show is. So, okay, there you go. Big booty bitches. Now we know what BBBS means. But anyway, in reality, that is the Big Brother, Big Sisters of America. Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Sorry if you are listening and I just tarnished your name there. But yeah, it's funny. What do you want? All right. Her latest gift to BBBS follows 3 other 9-figure donations she gave to large national charities with local affiliates in March. Those include $275 million to Planned Parenthood Federation of America. Oh, I love her even more. $436 million to Habitat for Humanity. That's cool. $281 million to the Boys and Girls Club of America. That's awesome. So add all that's up at $1.5 billion in donations in the first 5 months of 2022. That's amazing. That is amazing. Can you imagine billionaires, well, male billionaires, of doing anything like this? Maybe they do, we don't hear about it. And if that's the case, I'd like to know about it. Because, if I find out, hey, Jeff Bezos donated $1.5 billion to the preservation of the rainforest, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. And I'd give him a shout out because that's a big deal. Hey, Elon Musk donates $2 billion to the Great Barrier Reef protection. Oh, that is amazing. I'm still going to punch you in your cunt, you grabby ass Me Too motherfucker Elon Musk. But, you still did the right thing there, helping out the Great Barrier Reef. So yeah, you can still praise these people when they do something good. That doesn't mean you're praising the person. I get people that think I like Elon Musk just because I say things like, he's a pretty smart guy. And in some ways, yes, I consider him a genius in certain ways. Oh, so you love Elon Musk? I'm like, no, I don't love Elon Musk. I don't even like Elon Musk. I despise Elon Musk. Dare I say, I loathe Elon Musk. But I can still use reality and common sense and say, yeah, but he's a smart guy. He's just an asshole. You can say whatever you want about musicians or actors based on their personal life, but if you're watching a movie and Kevin Spacey's knocking it out of the park, you can say, man, Kevin Spacey's good in this movie. Oh, so you support him fucking boys? I'm like, no, what are you talking about? I was like, he's good in this movie. I like American Beauty. What can I say? He's good in it. Anyway, I hate people that are just so quick to judge. Anyway, this country's going to hell because that's the prevalent thinking everywhere. But anyway, enough about news and ways to fix this decrepit country that I love so much. And we really do have a great country. But anyway, enough about the news. Let's move on. All right, I teased it long enough. Now let's talk about the most attractive, sexiest, fictosexual-inducing, made-up cartoon characters in all of, well, let's say contemporary history, not all history. So since I was a kid, so let's say mostly 90s, possibly early 2000s. But by then I was in high school, and I don't think I was macking on any cartoon characters. So maybe just the 90s for me. I did ask a large group of friends their opinions, and a lot were thrown my way. Some of them were thrown out video game characters. I wasn't thinking about that at all. So, shit, that may have to be another list for another episode. Because that'll take up some time. Because, I mean, I've been playing Skyrim for over a decade, I feel like. And I've fallen in love or am infatuated with almost every marryable character in that game, not even mentioning the Fallout series, but oh man, I am one lonely fuck. But anyway, so right off the top of my head, the ones that come to mind are Nala from Lion King, Belle, Little Mermaid, Mulan, and Pocahontas. Not so much Jasmine and Margera, whatever her name is, from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. No, wait, that's not it. Hercules. You know what? I take that back. Jasmine, definitely on the list. Definitely. Even though she has no waist and no booty. But I'm not a huge fan of Margaret or Margera, Bam Margera from Hercules. And what was the other one? Who was the chick from Hunchback of Notre Dame? Esmeralda? Yeah, I can maybe see her on the list, but she's not near the top. I mean, I legitimately had a crush on Nala, Belle, Little Mermaid, Mulan, and Pocahontas. Because I think all those movies were released roughly around the same time. But so was Hercules and The Hunchback of Notre Dame, but I just didn't feel that way towards them. And of course, I've already talked about at length about my attraction to Tinkerbell. But anyway, I decided to look online and what other people have to say. I'll get to my friends here afterwards. So I found two lists. And these are male and female characters. And these are, quote unquote, the most attractive or hottest cartoon characters. One list is BuzzFeed, and the other one is from fictionhorizon.com, which sounds like a horror movie. But anyway, let's start with BuzzFeed. Flynn Rider from Tangled. Yeah, Yeah, maybe. Not for me, though. Megara from Hercules. Yeah, again, she's pretty low on the list. I mean, the animation just isn't that good for her. Sorry, I don't want to boink you. Beast from Beauty and the Beast. Maybe if I was a woman, but why would you want to have sex with a bear, ogre, troll looking thing? Miss me. Esmeralda from Hunchback of Notre Dame. Again, the animation really doesn't do her any justice, although she does have attractive eyes. Squidward from SpongeBob. Yeah, especially when he had that facial surgery. Or was it facial surgery when he looked like a model? Yeah, I can understand that. And then we got Jonesy from 16. I never watched the show, so it must have been after my time. I don't know what 16 is. The number 6, Teen. I don't know what that is. We have Balto from Balto. Okay. Yeah, I'd say a little bit of masculine characteristics on Balto. Okay, I get that. Mufasa from Lion King. Hey, no judge here. All right, if I wanted to get with Nala, I'm sure a large number of the population want to get dirty with Mufasa here. Prince Naveen, The Princess and the Frog. Never saw the movie. Mulan. Yeah, what? She's that low on the list? Man, fuck you, BuzzFeed. Cusco from Emperor's New Groove. I never saw it. He's not hot to me. Arnold from Hey Arnold. No, but you know who I did kind of like in that TV show? Oh, God. It was one of the side characters. Was it the Asian chick? It wasn't the blonde chick who secretly had a crush on Arnold. There was one female character from Hey Arnold. Okay, now I got to look up Hey Arnold characters. Jesus, this podcast gets derailed so easily. Not Helga. Where are the other women? Not was it Rhonda Wellington I liked? No, wasn't Lily or Lila. There was only 3 females? I thought there was a bunch more different woman characters. Well, I'm not counting the teachers. Well, maybe it was Rhonda Wellington. Although I swear there was an Asian chick that kind of had a weird haircut. Or am I thinking of Recess? No, I'm thinking of Hey Arnold. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's get back to the list here. We have DJ Det Wheeler from Recess. There you go, Recess. I mean, again, not this guy. This guy was cool, TJ. But now I got to look up the Recess character. Son of a bitch. Because now I really want to know. Am I thinking of that Asian chick? Okay, I am. I'm thinking of Ashley Spinelli. I was mixing up my TV shows. So I did not want to get with any character from Hey Arnold. But I did want to get with Ashley Spinelli. Maybe because she was Italian. I was a big fan of that when I was growing up. Because, shocker, I'm also Italian. Raven from Teen Titans. Ooh, this was after my time. But just looking at what she looks like, if I was a prepubescent boy watching Teen Titans, I for sure would find Raven attractive. The Hex Girls from Scooby-Doo. I don't remember them from Scooby-Doo, and I'm looking at their pictures, and they are pretty attractive. So even though I've never heard of the Hex Girls from Scooby-Doo, they're on my list now. Dean from the Iron Giant. You know, another sad confession is that I have never seen the Iron Giant. Add that to the list of great cinematic masterpieces that I haven't seen. Kovu from The Lion King. LaFonda, Jesus. Yes, can you meow right into the microphone, please? Kovu, remember, is the son of Scar. So, again, I don't swing that way. Not for me, Kovu. But, hey, I'm looking at that picture. You do look kind of cute in the emo kind of way. Tarzan, of course. Of course, Tarzan. LaFonda, don't rub your face literally on the microphone. Dr. Facilier from The Princess and the Frog. Really? That gap-tooth bitch is that high in the list? He's higher up than the prince? Nah, fuck you, BuzzFeed. Who else? We have Shadow the Hedgehog from Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, he's kind of hot. Oh, LaFon, do you like Shadow? Oh, I guess so. Prince Zuko from Avatar. Oh, yeah. If I was a girl growing up and I saw The Last Airbender, oh, yeah. I could think, I can fix Prince Zuko. Every girl tries, but I can actually do it. I want to save him from himself. Yeah, right. Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon. Oh, yeah. When he got that beard going, I could see that. I could see that. Let's see. Dimitri from Anastasia. I don't remember Anastasia. Oh, yeah, I do. Anastasia. Anastasia? I'd bang her. She's not on the list, but okay. Sorry, Dimitri, but you're not on the list for me, but Anastasia is. Velma from Scooby-Doo. Yeah, I don't know. Velma was never the one for me. I always thought she was a bit butch for me. A little bit, how I say, a dykey. Who was the other character from Scooby-Doo that was with Fred? Not Welma. Let's see. Scooby-Doo characters. Certainly it wasn't Welma. Daphne. That's who I'm talking about. Yeah. Daphne's my jam. I forgot all about Daphne. Okay. Daphne may be number one on my list because that was like well, no, because Nala did it for me first, but I was so attracted to Daphne. Sorry, Velma. You're not even in my top 50. But Daphne, wow. Li Shang from Mulan. Again, I don't swing that way, but I would definitely put him on the list. He's probably the most attractive hunk that I would have on my list. We got Danny Phantom from Danny Phantom. I don't know what that show is. It must be after my time. Max Goof from a Goofy movie. Yeah, again, if I was a woman and I saw a Goofy movie for the first time, I could probably think, yeah, he's pretty attractive. I'm with you. Jim from Treasure Planet. Again, didn't see the movie, and I'm not a girl, but I'm looking at that photo, and he has his chest showing, and that button-down shirt showing a lot of pecs, so maybe he's on the list to me, maybe. Buzz Lightyear, I never thought of Buzz Lightyear in that way. But yeah, I guess when you climax, you can yell, to infinity, and blah, blah. Yeah, okay. I can see Buzz Lightyear. Okay, I approve it. Miss Bellum from the Powerpuff Girls. That was one show that I think I missed out on growing up. I never watched an episode of the Powerpuff Girls, but I'm looking at Miss Bellum. Good God, look at those legs and that juicy, thick ass. All right, Miss Bellum, I've never watched you, but just on that photo alone on this website, you're on the list. Tramp from Lady and the Tramp. Yeah, he's a little cocky. He's got charisma, confidence, all things women like. Yeah, I can see how the Tramp is this high in the list. Shigo from Kim Possible. Kim Possible, I just missed out on. But looking at Kim Possible, I have heard more lesbians say that of all the characters growing up, they were all attracted to Kim Possible. So there is a very large lesbian following for Kim Possible. And I'm not even a lesbian and I find Kim Possible attractive, but I didn't watch the show. So I can't agree with this because I just haven't seen the show. But looking at the still image here of Shigo, I can understand it. And according to BuzzFeed, the hottest, most attractive cartoon character in recent history is Robin Hood from Robin Hood. Which, again, he's just a fox that walks like a humanoid. And there's a comment here that says he had a damp, foxy ass and he has dreamy eyes. Okay. And he can sing. And he does good, steal from the rich, give to the poor. Yeah, I can understand Robin Hood from being on that list. But, Anyway, let's move on to another list here. Flynn from Tangled again. We already talked about that. Oh, here's a new character. Sinbad from Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas. LaFonda, you're killing me here. If I have you on my lap, you're going to meow directly into the microphone. Yeah, exactly like that. Eris from Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas. Oh, so we have two Legend of the Seven Sea characters, Sinbad, and I'm guessing the villain, Eris? Looking at the photo here, she is pretty fine, but I never saw the movie, so we're skipping that one. And we already did the guy from Mulan. We already did Esmeralda. Oh, Aladdin made the list. He wasn't on the last one. LaFonda, Christ, come here. Jack Frost from Rise of the Guardians. Oh, God, he just looks like a Hall kid wearing an emo element shirt with his hair in his eyes. So yes, he is quite dreamy. I can see that. Aw shit, Sailor Moon. Now, I don't have much to say about Sailor Moon. I don't have an opinion or anything, but I've talked to a lot of women over the years that loved Sailor Moon growing up, and a lot of them said how much they wanted to be Sailor Moon because she was so attractive and so fine, and that they had all their toys and clothes and whatnot. And I thought, okay, so Sailor Moon to girls is what maybe wrestling or Godzilla is to boys. So yeah, I never watched Sailor Moon, but ooh, she is hot as a motherfucker. Oh wait, she isn't Sailor Moon. She's one of the sailors. Okay, well, Rei Hino, aka Sailor Mars. Okay, well, she's fine too. Maleficent, Sleeping Beauty. She is not sexy at all. She's got fucking horns and she's green and she kills people. Nope. Cinderella. Well, maybe she's attractive, but she is a ditzy blonde, so you would think she'd be a little bit easier than the rest. So, okay, she's on the list purely out of that. Prince Charming from Cinderella, he's a meathead. We already talked about the Hercules characters. Now, here's a character I've never heard of. Yuri Plasetsky from Yuri on Ice. It is a 2016 Japanese sports anime television series about figure skating. Well, no wonder I have never heard of this. Yuri Plasetsky. Okay. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl because the Japanese make their characters pretty asexual. So, I don't know. Not for me, Yuri. Not for me. Moving on, Sterling Archer from Archer. Again, I love Archer. It's one of my favorite animated series of the last 20 or so years. But again, I'm not attracted to any character in that show because I'm an adult when it came out. For me to be attracted to an animated character, it has to be from my childhood or before I hit puberty. And Archer just isn't it. Levi Ackerman from Attack on Titan. Again, later than my time. And I couldn't even watch Attack on Titan. I tried. It was too gory and bloody for me. Motoko Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell. I never saw Ghost in the Shell. LaFonda, please. You're out of control here. Osamu Sato from Avatar The Legend of Korra. Oh, again, see, it was after my time. I watched all of these shows. I've watched The Legend of Korra. And I was an adult, so you can't be attracted to an animated character as an adult without being a little bit pervy, I think. Lana Kane from Archer. I guess if I was going to be attracted to a character on Archer, it would be Lana. Ooh, Lana is pretty fine. Takashi Komuro from High School of the Dead. Again, after my time. I don't watch this content, so I don't really know. And it looks like it's contemporary present day, so nope. Selena Kyle, Catwoman from Batman the Animated Series. Surprisingly, she is not on my list. I was not attracted to any female character on Batman the Animated Series, not even the hot, sexy Poison Ivy. Definitely not Catwoman, definitely not Harley Quinn, and whoever else female characters were on that show. Same thing with Spider-Man, even Mary Jane Watson. I was not that attracted to. I was more attracted to Mary Jane, Spider-Man's girlfriend and wife, spoiler, from the comics than the actual show. Got another Attack on Titan character, Mikasa Ackerman. Again, I don't watch Attack on Titan and I'm too old to start now. Lola from Space Jam. This one was close. I think when Space Jam came out in 1996, I was 10 or 11, but I never saw Lola as a sexual being. I know a lot of my friends did. And when I talked to my friends about this, a lot of the guys are like, oh, Lola from Space Jam. Didn't do it for me. Did not do it for me. Nala? Yes. Lola from Space Jam? No. Although looking at the still image here from Space Jam, I could see why a massive amount of males from this generation do find her sexy as a motherfucker. All right. Light Yagami from Death Note. Never saw Death Note. Sebastian Michaelis from Black Butler. I don't know any of these animes. I'm sorry, people. Cloud Faustus from Black Butler. Again, anime. I don't watch it. Zero Kiryu from Vampire Knight. Another animated character. I don't know. Betty Boop from Talk-Cartoon series. Oh, like Betty Boop, the old school Betty Boop. Yeah, I think, I could see me being attracted to her because I saw Betty Boop at a real young age. And seeing her with those legs and those big ass eyes, I think Betty Boop was hot shit for men from the fucking 20s and the 30s. When did she come out? Between 30 and 39. Oh yeah, before there was pornography and porno magazines, before TV and radio, all the guys had to do was jack off to Betty Boop. That makes perfect sense. Kaname Kuran from Vampire Knight. This motherfucker beat Betty Boop. Get out of here. And of course, this one makes perfect sense. Now, she was extremely hot to me, but I didn't get the sexualness of this character until much older in my life. So then I have to kick her off the list because for me, being attracted to a fictional animated character stems from my early childhood, young adult until I hit puberty, roughly around 12 or so. And Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit was so overtly sexual that it went right over my head when I saw the movie as a kid. Then when I saw it in high school and college, I thought, oh my God, what I wouldn't do to smell the seat that Jessica Rabbit sits on. That makes sense. That makes sense for it to be for Jessica Rabbit to be number one. But as promised, let me tell you what some of my friends said. Go to the top here. Johnny Bravo, just regular Spider-Man from the animated series. Yep, the rabbit from Space Jam. Sailor Moon, yeah. He-Man, makes sense. Captain Planet. Oh shit, Captain Planet wasn't on any of these lists. Yeah, I can see that. Laura Croft and her pixelated square tits. Oh baby, I remember those. Then Warcraft characters, Cortana from Halo. Yeah. But let's get out of video games. Witcher characters. Yeah. Mrs. Frizzle. You know what? Miss Frizzle was such a damn good teacher. I'd give her the pipe just because she's good at her job. Oh, Human Shrek. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Human Shrek was a stud. I didn't even think about that. Mufasa. Yeah, that makes sense. Princess Fiona. Okay, we're keeping up with Shrek. My buddy says that Algra is a dummy thick form. Prince Eric, Tarzan, Jasmine, Archer, Squidward, and another one for Jasmine. So yeah, a lot of them were on the lists. Although I think Captain Planet is a massive miss by BuzzFeed and whatever garbage website I was on. If I was gay, I think Captain Planet may be number one. But anyway, enough about this. Fictosexual, most attractive animated characters. If you guys have one that I didn't talk about, shoot me a message, DM me, and we'll talk about it in another episode. But with that, I think we can move on here. Well, I wanted to talk about some ideas I had for a movie and a novel, but I think I'll have to keep those for another episode because it got pretty long-winded talking about the Texas shooting and what I would do to address the gun and mental health issues we have in this country. And I want to play you two quick audio clips here, and then we can wrap up. The first audio clip, which I'm sure most of you have already heard or seen it somewhere before, it's from Senator Chris Murphy, a Democrat from Connecticut, who I believe his district, he represents the district where the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting happened in 2012. In case you forgot, it happened in Newtown. 26 people were killed. 20 of those 26 were children, ages 6 and 7. So there was a lot of eerily similar things between Sandy Hook and the elementary school shooting from Tuesday. I'm tearing up just thinking about it. But anyway, Senator Chris Murphy made a impassioned speech on the Senate floor. Let me go ahead and play it here for you.
14 kids dead in an elementary school in Texas right now. What are we doing? What are we doing? Just days after a shooter walked into a grocery store to gun down African American patrons, we have another Sandy Hook on our hands. What are we doing? There have been more mass shootings than days in the year.
Sad but true.
Our kids are living in fear every single time they set foot in the classroom because they think they're going to be next. What are we doing? Why do you spend all this time running for the United States Senate? Why do you go through all the hassle of getting this job, of putting yourself in a position of authority, if your answer is that as this slaughter increases, as our kids run for their lives, we do nothing? What are we doing? Why are you here? If not to solve a problem as existential as this.
Whew. You tell it, baby. All right, and the last clip I'm going to play, I already kind of talked about it before, is Governor Abbott holding a press conference, I think it was today, with the Uvalde, Texas mayor, Don McLaughlin, and the Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. And Beto O'Rourke interrupted the press conference. I'm going to play you that here. And it's important to know that not only is O'Rourke challenging Greg Abbott for the governorship soon, but that Beto comes from El Paso, where 23 people were murdered in another shooting. When was that? 2012? 2019. And 23 others were injured. So he knows what he's talking about here when he interrupts them. Do I think this is for political points? Maybe. Do I think that's a little bit superficial? Maybe. Is he doing it to go viral and to get his name out? Possibly. But I think that it's coming from a decent, heartfelt place because of what happened in 2019. And as much as I dislike Beto, I am choosing to have hope in Beto in this, that he truly felt impassioned enough to do this. Now, you're going to hear a lot of people in this video and probably talking outside on the news about how much of a prick, asshole, drama queen he's doing it to be a showboat and all that stuff. And maybe that's true. I'm choosing to think otherwise. But let me go ahead and play that clip.
And at this time, I will pass the mic to Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sit down. You're out of line and an embarrassment. Sit down. Shooting is right now, and you are doing nothing. No, he should get his ass out of here. This isn't the place to talk to himself. This is totally predictable when you... Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you're out of line. Please leave this auditorium. I can't believe you're a sick son of a bitch that would come to a deal like this to make a political issue. It's on assholes like you. Why don't you get out of here?
Oof, I'm sure you all heard that woman yelling, guns over people. I hope that's not true. But it is Texas. You don't ever... No, you can't be too sure. But for those of you that couldn't hear what was going on, let me read the transcript here. So Beto O'Rourke interrupted the press conference saying, "You are doing nothing," pointing to Greg Abbott. "You are offering up nothing. You said this was not predictable. This was totally predictable when you choose not to do anything." After O'Rourke interjected, Texas Senator Ted Cruz told him to sit down, while Uvalde Mayor Don McLaughlin called him a sick son of a bitch that would come to a deal like this to make a political issue. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said he was out of line and an embarrassment. O'Rourke continued yelling, "This is on you," pointing his fingers towards Abbott and the other officials involved in the press conference as he was being escorted out. Once out, Beto continued, saying, "There's no words anybody shouting can come up here and do anything to heal these broken hearts. I want us to do something right now. We can do something right now. But if we continue to accept this, it is on us. It is not just the governor's fault. It is on us. I'm not going to accept it, so I'm here. I'm calling attention to it. And I'm calling on all Texans of good conscience, and I could care less whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent, to stand up right now for yourself, for your kids, for our families, and to stop the next shooting just like this one." Abbott, of course, promised to do everything we can to make sure crime like this doesn't happen. However, he did just sign a bill a couple weeks ago that makes it easier to buy guns and lowers the age to buy guns from 21 to 18. So congratulations, Abbott. You really are a sick son of a bitch. And the fact that Beto is getting yelled at and derided by the elected officials, and then you heard half of the audience yelling at him for him to shut up, get out of here. That woman who's yelling guns over people. However, there was plenty of people yelling First Amendment, let him speak, let him talk. So who knows? Who knows? But I believe it's important to call this out because I choose to have the opinion that Beto was trying to do something good here. Time will tell if he was just full of shit and just wanted to get his name out. But with that, I think we can wrap up. I love y'all. take it sleazy. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And for the love of God, don't be a judgy cunt, because these mass shootings are going to spur a lot of debate and dialogue between people. And most of us have opposing views on what to do about guns, what to do about mental health, what to do about homeless, whatever. The list of division is long in this country. So I offer you this. I don't pretend to be perfect, but I do try my hardest not to go into a conversation, whether it be an argument or a debate or just having dialogue, where the person I'm talking to has a difference of an opinion and I attack them immediately. I get judgy, I yell, I insult them, I get angry. I try my hardest not to do that. I used to do that a lot more than I feel comfortable admitting, but that was old Angelo. I like to think this new current Angelo is much more patient and wise and knowledgeable about things. And so I give you this advice. It's going to be hard not to be angry right now when you're talking about guns to someone who doesn't believe in gun laws and just regurgitates the same rhetoric about mental health crisis and blah, 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 blah. But instead of calling them names or yelling at them, talking down to them, just ask them, well, why do you think that way? What would you do? Ask them questions instead of yelling at them, judging them, and telling them what they should do and what they have to do, what they need to do. Ask them their opinion about things. It's incredible where just seeing common ground at the beginning of a debate will kind of cool people off, because that other person's coming in hot too. They truly believe in something with such passion that they're going to have a debate with someone about it. They're going to have their weapons drawn, so to speak. I mean, it's sad, because if you have an honest and open conversation with someone, I think you'll be amazed how much you have in common. Because this is such a divisive, sensitive subject. Many people will literally say, I am willing to die on a hill for Second Amendment rights or for gun laws or whatever. And so instead of coming in hot and heavy, just try to come at it with a little bit of respect, a little bit of dignity, and talk to them how you want to be talked to. The golden rule, baby. However, if the person chooses to be judgy or mean or loud or accusing or talking down to you, well, then you tried. All bets are off. You're not a saint. So that's one piece of advice I offer to all of my listeners, all 5 of you or 500. I have no idea how many listeners I have. Try to come at it with a level of respect. That's all I'm asking. Offer them an olive branch, and it's up to them to accept it. If they don't, well, then you do you, all right? And I've had plenty of those conversations too, where I try to be the peacemaker. I try to be let's just cool it down here. Let's have calmer heads prevail. I try to be the more calm voice, the respectable voice, and sometimes it's backfired, but at least you tried. And that's what I think is important. But with that, I think we are done here. So I hope that the next podcast will be a little bit more uplifting. Peace out. I love y'all.